Architectural Builders Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
I looked on your website and I found the one I want, and it's you listed as an FA10 STA 620, which is a St. Anne's design lever set in antique pewter finish. And when I put add to cart, this little notice comes up, says this item is a website internet special only, ships directly from the manufacturer, is not returnable and not cancelable once the order is placed. My only concern about buying this is I can live with those terms as long as the merchandise comes, it's what I'm ordering and it comes in good condition. The reason I ask this is some time ago I ordered a Schlage Lock set through a local locksmith company, and the strike plate and the little plate that goes on the edge of the door where, for the lock set where the bolt comes out, they were all scratched up. And they look like they were used, but, and I didn't want to accept them because of that. And so I'm wondering if I order this says it's ships direct from the manufacturer. So I'm assuming this will be all in so-called perfect condition. Now, if it's not, would I be able to return it?
Well, anything that's defective or damaged, would be mitigated, replaced, etc. Strikes that are scratched and latch fronts that are scratched, no. I mean, there's a peel-away protective film on there that sometimes people get confused by, but...
Actually, I've ordered these lock sets before, and they actually don't have the peelable thing on them. I was surprised, but in the box they don't have that. But that as long as I can be assured of that. Now, do I have to order online? Can I order from you or?
Yes to the latter. Now, the problem is the way the factory packs the stuff. They've got loose parts that are making contact with each other. And at the end of the day, it's quite subjective what a scratch is in terms of, what the factory says that they would live with isn't necessarily what I would agree to live with. So, it might be a situation where, the factory's like, listen, take it or leave it. And, because I've been down that road with Schlage, especially with polished chrome, not 620, but 625. I wish everything was individually packaged and all the metal parts were separated. That's just not how they're going to ship it.
Yeah. I bought several that, I bought 4 lock sets or 5 lock sets that, came perfect, but, I had one that was not, and so they took it back and reordered it. But I was just curious what I guess
I don't often have a problem with people having any issue with finished hardware. I did have a large problem with some polished chrome about a year and a half ago, but I don't expect any trouble. If there's something that's clearly substandard, it's going to be replaced. If it's something that's substandard for you and the factory says, listen, that's how we make those, they're not going to take it back, or they won't. You could send it back, but the cost of shipping it back and the restocking fee would be your obligation. Why not just go to a home center so you can open up the box and pull it out?
Because this finish is not available very widely. In fact, you're one of only 2 or 3 websites that I've even found that I could buy it on the internet. The St. Anne's in the antique pewter finish is I called Schlage and they said it's not discontinued. They still make them and no problem, but it's not the FA series anymore. It's just the F series. So the screw holes now show through the rosette, but I can put the locks I'm going to buy in closets, so the screws are on the inside of the closet, and transfer some of the locks I have on closets to passage doors and make it all work. But that's the only. I like the design and I like the color, and so I kind of want to keep it. So that's where I am. I need 3 more passage door lock sets, and so I was going to order them from you.
Those are definitely not in stock. That's for sure.
Yeah. And according to this, according to what you have on your website, it takes 3 to 4 weeks for the manufacturer to ship them, and then whatever probably another week for shipping.
Yeah, and if they're not in stock, I mean, all bets are kind of off the table nowadays. You'd have to brace yourself for the potential for a longer lead time. It took me probably 5 months to get something custom out of Baldwin earlier last month. So, yep.
Wow, 5 months. I could live with a month or 2, but boy. Wow, that really makes me. I wonder if I could get a commitment from Schlage if I
think what you should do
them.
is call Schlage. Tell them to give you the last 3 people, their residential distributors, who bought that passage set in terms of what would look like a stock quantity. Then call those individuals so that they can get shipped out. Someone must keep that in stock.
Yeah. Oh boy. I mean, my alternative is to buy all new lock sets and go to like Accent or something like that, and I can buy that in the same color, and that's available like even at Lowe's. So I mean, special order, but still it's available at Lowe's. So that's easier. But
I think the easy thing to do is to just wait for them to come in.
Yeah. I mean,
if your problem is just holes in the door, I would get the least expensive thing humanly possible to plug the holes. Something super low end from the clearance aisle at Kmart. Some sort of passage set to just fill the aisle. Blue light special.
Yeah. Sure. And then just wait and get the ones I want. Yeah.
They'll come in. Yeah. It's just a matter of them coming in.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay. Well, now if I order these on your website, then you'll just put the order through, and it'll just take however long it takes, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty automatic. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Do you ever send any kind of advisory out, like when you get them in to ship them or something like that, or you get 2 emails from us when you place an order. The first is an order confirmation that comes within moments of the order being entered. The second and final email is a paid invoice that has your tracking number when the order has a tracking number and it's in motion. Oh, from you to me, that tracking number?
Or to you, yes, sir. I'm not sure what the origination point is, but when it's headed to you, yes.
Yeah. Okay. All righty. Okay. Well, good. Hopefully Schlage would have some of these in stock and not have to wait for like a batch to be processed or something like that. But I guess, that could be the case too. So maybe I'll call them and see what I can find out. But in the meantime, thank you so much for your information. I appreciate that, and I think I'll call Schlage, and then if I get a satisfactory answer, I'll just go back to your website and order these right off the website. So.
Yeah, but just because whatever some person that you speak to at Schlage, I mean, I think that person would speak accurately when it comes to generalities. Depending on the size of the order, it may not meet the minimum order that they have, which means it has to languish on a stock order for a week before we issue it. I'm not sure what Schlage's minimum is, but it's probably $300. And it depends on where our stock order is for special orders. So it's. There's no atomic clock, unfortunately. In this day and age, you'd think there would be, but there's not.
Oh, so in other words, before they would ship an order out to you, you have to accumulate $300 of special orders or some number, and then your order would get placed, and then they would send them all out kind of in bulk. Is that the idea?
If the order is too small to be sent and shipped direct, that's precisely what happens.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fair warning.
Yeah.
I guess that's the way to look at it. So, all right. Well, thank you. I think I'm going to end up ordering these because I hate to change the whole thing in the middle of the stream. I had no idea that it was going to be so hard a few years ago when I settled on these that it would come to this. But
my suggestion is that you buy a couple of every function, because I've been selling Schlage for 30 years in my family since the 1940s, most likely. They're going to discontinue it, and we'll need a time machine to find any more of it. And if I knew then what I know now, I would have pallets of certain types of Schlage locks, because they were so perfect at the time, and someone's lack of wisdom just said, let's discontinue this, and it had a very unique prep. Nothing fits into it, like their Schlage E series they made from the 50s until the very early 90s. And there's no lock like it. And if I had a pallet load of those, it'd be a really nice, profitable hobby for me to traffic in that material, like the 400 series deadbolt, the 100 series deadbolt, the C series. If you could get your hand on some C series or the old interconnected G lock, I mean, you would be the most popular guy on your block with all the lock people. So get a couple and put them in the garage so that you've got a latch and you've got a chassis. It may not matter today, but it might in 20 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, I don't know why they discontinued the FA series, because that has the hidden screws on the rosette, and now the F series shows the screws, and so
the F series has been around since the 80s, and it's always had an exposed rose. The logic was they want to sell people the A line. So if you want concealed screws, you got to go to the A line. Well, all of that was happening before ADA. All of that was happening before the renaissance of choice that we have starting in the 90s. But originally it was, we don't want to sell you the F lock. We want to sell you a nice A lock. But they had to accommodate the market, Yeah.
Well, the FA had the advantage of both. It was priced around the price of the F series, but with the A, it had it had the covered screws, and it's a nice lock, and I've got them on several doors, but including a couple closet doors, which they'll take off and put on passage doors and buy these F series ones for the closets, and then it'll work out. But I don't know why they would discontinue that as a nice series, but
the Mediterranean they made in the early 90s until about 2000, solid brass imported from Italy, very beautiful designs. They just stopped making it one day, and I am over my desk. I have a case of old Mediterranean. That once in a while someone calls me for a latch bolt. Well, I can't sell you the latch bolt, but I got the whole passage set here, so. Unique designs. Yeah. I participate in a lot of industry functions, education, whatnot. There is a very important individual in the locksmithing world. He's an author. He is one of 50 people to exist in the history of United States locksmithing, and his whole thing about Schlage, would you just stop? Those were his words. Would you just stop discontinuing things?
Yeah. Well, but I guess the company has changed hands a few times, and then new people come in, and I guess without, proper education, discontinue things, that are good designs, and I don't know. It's too bad. I grew up with Schlage locks in my homes. I mean, when I was a kid and everything, and they were probably the old A series back then.
They're guaranteed, because the F series didn't exist.
Yeah.
The A line was their bottom line lock.
Yeah, and
And and they work today like they did back then, I bet you.
Oh yeah. I was a painting contractor until I retired a few years ago, and I worked on a house back about in the late 90s. The house was built in the early 60s and had all the old A-line Schlage Locks. And the finish was not the nicest on them, it had worn down, because they're all the brass Georgian locks, but the mechanisms worked perfect. And I just cleaned up all the outsides and sprayed a coat of lacquer on them to kind of have them hold their shine for a little while longer. I mean, I know it won't last forever, but it's better than nothing. And painted all the doors and I actually literally restored all the doors that were just beat up and stuff, and put these locks on. They look like brand new, and they work fine, and they're like an indestructible lock once they're, but then I guess the big thing was Quickset. Quickset came in and put screws through the rosette and cheapened everything, and competition drove them down. But
well, Quickset's a good company. When you call there, they have a firm grasp over the technical aspect of what they do. From a locksmithing perspective, they have a very interesting cylinder platform that draws on the fundamentals of high security cylinders. What were those knobs on that house in the 60s? Do you remember what the knob looked like?
It was a Georgian knob.
Georgian, just a plain Georgian, okay. Because I've got some mid-century catalogs, and some of those designs are just beautiful designs. That was a period of explosive creativity, the 50s and early 60s. And industrial design. I've got some Schlage Locks that because I collect them, that are really a Lion's Head A53. And then the escutcheons. The home I grew up in had a 12-inch backset, a big giant Schlage escutcheon that was actually made by BBW, and we would know that today by the name Trimco. And you just don't see those.
Wow.
You just don't.
Yeah. Well, I know there was there was a lot of stuff back then that I don't know. It's funny how I started as a contractor in 1968, and I think of so many things from back in that era that are just gone now, and I'm amazed that I mean tools and things like that they just don't make anymore, and things like locks and other kinds of hardware and stuff like that, and just everything's cheaper and not as good.
Well, what's remarkable to me, switching gears a little bit, is the fidelity of the music that we listen to. I remember getting my first CD and CD player at some point in 85 or so, 86, and I said to myself, I think I've just been duped, because I grew up on records, and my dad had a reel-to-reel in the front room, which I own a reel-to-reel player, and it's not amazing fidelity, but the CD we were all cheated, because the fidelity on vinyl is superior, especially 180 gram vinyl. To make your point, it's we've been cheated, and we're paying more for less. So the only advantage to CDs is that they don't wear, from playing, but I've got a turntable with with a cartridge that tracks at 1 gram, and nice.
There's a difference between the records and the CDs, because I have some of the same music on both formats, and now I'm 70 years old, and my hearing is nowhere near what it used to be, so I don't know for sure anymore. I mean, I did 10 or 15 years ago, but at this point now, I don't know. I think that I hear things, and I can't tell if I'm actually hearing them or remembering them, because I hear some of that music backwards and forwards, and I remember what it sounded like, and I don't know if I'm actually hearing it or if that's just coming out of memory. But my hearing's crappy compared to what it used to be. So.
Yeah, and age has both the negative effect that you're discussing and a positive effect. Where when I was a kid, I couldn't tell if it was Paul or John singing. I couldn't tell. But today, their voice, for many decades now, because I'm 50, it's been, the voice, But when I was 8, I couldn't tell which was which. So the ears do mature and get better with time. Studying music, I think, helps it out as well, which I did for a little while. Anyway, so my name is Richard. By all means, call me back if you need to get it pushed over the hump, and we'll see it through, and we'll fight the battle, and you will get them, and you'll get the product you paid for. So there you go. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's great. Well, I thank you so much, Richard, and it's been a pleasure talking to you. And I will. Would it be better to call in the order, or would it be better just to order it online?
It's 6 half dozen the other. Whatever your preference is, by all means, call us.
Okay. Great. Well, I'm gonna just kind of call Schlage one more time, and then I'll place the order. So just to see what they say. Anyway, I like you said, the person on the phone may or may not know specific, but I think I'll call them one more time. So. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, sir. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
All right. Have a good day. Bye.
You too. Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please subscribe and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.